Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing another movie review for you all. This movie is a drama from Spain, Spanish language English subs, released in the year 2018, directed by Miguel Angel Vivas, and this film is called Your Son. So Your Son is about a surgeon. He's a very respected surgeon. He has a beautiful home, he has a wife and 2 teenage children, and everything seems to be going very well. But then one evening he gets a call, and in the ER room is his son. He's been brutally beaten by a gang of youths, and now he's consumed by grief and anger. So the more he is consumed into this darkness, the more devastating it is for the rest of his family, and he wants to piece together clues as to who the culprits were. And when he starts to gather that evidence, he starts to go down a downward spiral where it threatens to pass the point of no return. So whether or not it does, something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Your Son. When it comes to underrated directors, there are none more underrated than Miguel Angel Vivas. Now this guy is never talked about, which is a great shame, and this is the reason why I love foreign cinema, because you come across directors like this. He made a movie called Kidnapped. That's an extreme home invasion horror film that I reviewed a long time ago, one of my favourite movies, and that was just not only visually devastating but psychologically devastating. It's just a trademark of a really good filmmaker. So he's since gone on to the United States, and you know, a lot of these foreign filmmakers, they have to water their things down because in the United States it's controlled a lot more by the studios. They want to win money back, and so it has to appeal to as wide an audience as possible. But when they go back to their homeland, this is where they're not controlled by the studios, and this is where their true selves come out. So when I heard that this is a movie from Spain, another Miguel Angel Vivas experience, I thought I have to watch it. And why hadn't I known about this movie before? Is because the attention is not on these directors. So you really have to go through and look for yourself as to the catalogue of these directors. And when I realised that this is from 2018, I thought to myself, it's a great shame that this went under the radar. So when I saw the trailer, I thought, all right, well, this looks very interesting. What was it going to be? And I was going to compare it to Kidnapped, although I didn't want to. It's very hard not to. But I was hoping that this would be at least a very memorable experience. And after watching Your Son, this is yet another example of how good this director is. This movie is equally as harrowing as Kidnapped. It's not as visually violent as that movie, but it's just psychologically devastating. And this director, it has a real knack for bringing in the ugliness of humanity. This is a director who doesn't sugarcoat things, and this is something in life where you see on the news, something horrible's happened, so you change the channel. You don't want to acknowledge it's there, but it's always there. It's always in the corner, waiting in the darkness. And so you hope that you're not going to suffer a similar fate, but unfortunately you always have that fear that you might. And so when you see this stuff on the news, this is something that people have to see. You have to watch the ugliness, because that's therefore you're living in the real world. And so Miguel Angel Vivas, in his movies, he forces you to look at the real world. And so Kidnapped did it very well in the vulnerable up against the evil. And in this movie, it's about a man going through grief, a family going through grief, and what would you do in a similar set of circumstances. So this is a revenge movie, but done in a way that was very, very thoughtful and very realistic. Being a new father myself, I have a 3-year-old son, I kept thinking, what would I do in a similar set of circumstances? Before I was a parent, I thought to myself, I would never do that, because you're going way too far and you're just going to make the situation worse. But when I saw what happened to this guy's son, I thought to myself, maybe I would do the same thing. And so it's that grief, and it's that trap of vengeance. And vengeance is the true evil, because the more you actually seek out destruction, the situation just becomes, completely out of control, and it's a catastrophe waiting to happen. And the whole catastrophic feeling that this movie had just made that movie even more tragic. And so the sense of anticipation, this is a ticking time bomb. As this character is navigating his thoughts and his emotions, I thought to myself, this is not going to have a very good ending. And so you're bracing for impact, and when the wick gets closer to the explosion, I thought to myself that anticipation was getting unbearable. And so that's through the phenomenal acting from the father, the main character of this movie. I thought his emotions were very real, and it was actually a very depressing sort of atmosphere that it creates. I thought he wasn't talking to his wife, he wasn't talking to his daughter, he was just consumed by that grief. And there's some scenes in this movie where he's not even talking, but you can see the emotion coming out of him. And that was down to the fantastic script and the phenomenal acting performance of this individual. But it's not only him. There are other characters in the movie where they have interactions with each other, and they're not even talking, but you can see through the body language and the emotions that it was just a ticking ticking time bomb, that this is just simmering to the top and you knew things were going to get well out of hand. You want to stop this father from what he's doing. You can understand what he's doing, but you know it's going to have catastrophic consequences. But because he's blind to all, or because of all the rage he has, I thought to myself, okay, what can I do? I can't really do anything. And so you don't want to look, but you're forced to look through the stunning visuals that the movie has. There are some really horrible scenes of violence in this movie. It's not as extreme as Kidnapped, but there are one or two scenes that I thought were really hard to watch because it's really in your face. And so it's like that news report that you want to change the channel, but Miguel Ángel Vivas, he's forcing you to stay on that channel. He's forcing you to watch a horrible set of circumstances in an hour and a half, and he's not making any apologies for it. So the continuity of the film, it does get stuck a little bit. I thought to myself it did get repetitive in stages, but pushing that aside, that's a very minute problem in what was another phenomenal experience from this director. It is a movie that is incredibly tragic. As I said, it makes you just feel really sorry for everyone involved. Even the villains in this movie, I thought to myself I could sympathise for the father of this villain. I thought to myself, okay, well, I can understand the fact that he's trying to protect his son, and the whole film of Your Son is basically what would you do if your son was in that similar situation. And so it's basically protecting your loved ones, but unfortunately in doing so you're actually making a storm around you, which is not going to end well for everyone. So this was absolutely fantastic. Please go out there and support this director because he really knows what he's doing. I'm going to give Your Son 4.5 stars. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, keep watching movies and I'll see you later.